paragraph and a paragraph structure. So let's look at our main objective here on the board. And so today's class, we're going to start with a basic understanding of essay structures. Students, you guys, are going to be able to describe and distinguish the four main elements of an effective paragraph. Well, how we're going to do that is we're going to make a paragraph sandwich. How we're going to learn from that is see how the four main elements of a paragraph help form a well thought out argument. How I'm going to assess that is by the end of the week, we're going to actually write ourselves our own 4-paragraph essay. I put the smiley face there because I'm assuming how happy you guys are going to be. But for now, let's read out our daily I can statement. So, I can think creatively and critically about paragraph structure and about how it can make me a better writer and get my opinion and idea understood. So, let's start off. So, like I said, we're going to be making ourselves a paragraph sandwich. I'm going to refer back to the paper that I gave you guys earlier this week about what goes into an effective paragraph. So, the very first thing of a sandwich is the bread. The bread's the most important part. It's like the hook of a paragraph. You want to describe, you want to put some emotion, and you want to start to opinionate and formulate your thesis at the beginning of your paragraph. So, Brody, I'm going to ask you to take that most important part of the paragraph, the bread, the topic and the intro, and slice it open, pass it over to the jelly. All right. Will, you got an important part here. You're going to take that jelly. The jelly is going to signify the support part of the paragraph. This is when you start to get a little more descriptive. You start to use quotations, and you start to use examples, and you start to put the most important parts of your argument into a cohesive sentence and an argument. So, open up that jelly, put a couple slabs down there. And with that knife over there, you can spread it nice and evenly. Oh yeah, looks real good, doesn't it? Wow, double-sided. All right, we're going support heavy on this sandwich then.
You gotta do your research.
That is true. You gotta do your research. All right. Once that looks good and spread, I want you to pass that over to the next part of the paragraph. All right, next part of the paragraph is the peanut butter or the analysis. The analysis is where you're going to connect all that jelly to the main argument. You're going to take that thesis, you're going to take all those examples, and you're really going to explain what it means. That's where you start to use your own opinions, your own words. You start to tell me why it matters, why it's important. I know we got a lot of jelly, we got a lot of support on that sandwich, Ben, but try to find some creases in between and put some peanut butter on there. Sure. Analysis is important.
Sure.
Sadly, we can't make too big of a sandwich, but you should remember, whatever support you put on there, you should be putting just as much peanut butter, just as much analysis. Everything you say has to be backed up. It's important that you're always using your own words to describe something. Oh man.
That looks delicious.
We got quite a mess of a sandwich going
Hopefully
here.
we can balance this all out.
It's all about the balance here.
Of course. Sure, how about that?
That looks, I can't even say it looks great. It looks okay,
That
but
looks pretty
the paragraph should come out better than the sandwich. So, the conclusion, that's where you're going to put the two pieces of bread together. Will and Ben, why don't you marry that sandwich together?
Sure
All right,
thing.
I'll
Let's
get
put
this
our
side.
sides together.
Remember, the conclusion is all about referring back to the original thesis, summarizing, being able to put your opinion into a final word, and be able to sum up everything you said, putting it all together into a cohesive, well-thought-out argument. Sandwich looks great, but let's look at an actual example of a paragraph so we can really see what someone in middle school were to write about using a paragraph and the four elements of that structure. So you guys see on the board, I color them out so we have the two pieces of bread on the bottom, the jelly, and that peanut butter. So I'm going to read this out to you just so you guys can see a better example of these four elements. So, the beginning part of the bread, that topic and that introduction, students would be much smarter if they had some music experience. They would improve their classroom skills like paying attention, following directions, and participating without interrupting. People develop all these skills when they learn music. That's that nice introduction and you hook, you get interested, you want to read more about it. Now we're expecting that jelly, we're expecting that support to come in, those examples. Musicians are also better in math and they get higher SAT scores. For instance, a student by the College Entrance Examination Board reported students with 20 units of arts and music scored 128 points higher on the SAT verbal and 118 points higher in math. So those are all great real-world examples that you can use to strengthen that argument. Let's go to that peanut butter. That's where you analysis everything you just did. Making music also lets children use their imaginations. Unlike playing with video games and electronic stuffed animals, it provides students with a chance to try out their own ideas, according to the California Educator. Another great example, remember every time you put a quotation in, you're going to want to cite it. So this person did a really great job. And then that final conclusion, that final slice of bread, music makes children well-rounded students. I would wish for a little more conclusion, but overall not a bad job of summarizing and bringing it back to the top, combining those two slices of bread and getting that all together. So, happy everyone enjoyed the lesson. All right, and now for the final part of the lesson is the chant. I decided with the chant, I'm gonna make an acronym. So, the acronym is, just like the sandwich, PB and J. So everyone say it with me.
PB and J.
So, what that stands for though, the P stands for perspective. Remember, you're gonna want to put in your own perspective, your own ideas into the text. The B is the broaden, because you're gonna want to broaden the reader's understanding and worldview. Remember, your ideas, your arguments, your thoughts, they're all valid, they're all important. So, what I want to do is I want to help you form those into an argument that makes sense and is able to read, so a reader can take away all the important thoughts that you have. And lastly, J, just do it. I know at this age, you're just starting to learn how to write. It's scary, it's overwhelming, but the only way you're going to get better is if you just sit down and just do it. So, let's say what they all stand for again. So, the P stands for
Perspective.
The B stands for
Broaden.
and the J stands for
Just do it.
Perfect. All right, class. See you tomorrow.